Welcome to week 2 of the Inner Journey of Awakening with TreeSisters. For those of you who are here for the first time, I just want to give you a slight frame of this, which is as part of our Billion Trees campaign, as part of this journey that we are taking to see whether we can unleash humanity's hearts on behalf of the trees, on behalf of our planet. We're looking at the consciousness that we are, and we're looking at our capacity to make significantly different choices which actually liberate our energy. So week 1 was reveal. And reveal was the willingness to open our minds in a particular way, to move beyond a closed state of feeling like we know or we have to know, and opening to the greater possibility of not knowing, this thing that we're so often shamed about, but actually is access to the limitless knowledge, wisdom, intelligence, creative capacity of the universe. When we simply bow, in a sense, to the divine feminine, to the mystery of creation, and just say, show me. Show me who I am, show me what I'm for, show me how this whole unfolding apparent chaos is actually the perfection of a species waking up to ourselves. And this week is embrace, and embrace is our willingness to make a second choice, and that is to live lovingly. To live not just theoretically, wouldn't it be lovely if we could create a loving world, but actually to imagine how to do that, feel how to do that, and choose how to do that. Because when we feel loved, when we feel held, when we belong, when we are part of, we feel safer. When we're safer, our nervous systems are less reactive, they're more available, our wisdom becomes more available, and our ability to feel how things are becomes easier because we're not in a kind of high vibrating stress pattern that means that we react at the drop of a hat and we see everything that's going on through the chaos and apparent destructiveness of it, rather than being able to take a back seat, feel our response and feel how to respond appropriately to our own energies, which is next week, the week of Embody. So to love as a choice, we've all got reasons not to love. We've all had experiences of the love that we are being met with rejection on some level. And in our early lives, before we could sit there and look at our parents or our teachers or our siblings or whoever and say, wow, this is a painful moment. They really don't know how to receive me. We had experiences, all of us, I would imagine, of stepping forward with our fullness and our light and our beauty and our brilliance and being met with the opposite of what we needed in that moment. And so we sort of collapsed the experience of being in our fullness with the experience of utter rejection or harm, or just not being met, or feeling abandoned, or feeling misunderstood. And so we made our light synonymous with being rejected. And so in that moment, rather than being able to look with wisdom beyond our years at those who are simply incapable of receiving us in that moment and realizing that that's to do with them, we look at ourselves and we go, wow, there's something fundamentally wrong with me. And we sever from some part of ourselves and we reject it. And then we have a dissociated part of ourselves, or many dissociated part of ourselves, wandering around trying to figure out who we need to be in order to feel loved, who we need to be in order to get that love from those external people that helps us to understand that we're actually okay, because we're not in contact with our okayness. We all have it. We've all got these parts of ourselves that feel fundamentally insecure. And it's not a truth. The truth is not that we're unlovable or that we deserve being abandoned or that we deserve to be hurt. We may have those life experiences for a million different reasons, some karmic, some ancestral, some, I believe, our choices. It doesn't actually matter. What matters is how we respond in life, because we can respond from that victim place, which I have done for most of my life and trying to learn how not to, or we can respond from a proactive place. So just imagine these two scenarios. One is you walk into a classroom and that classroom are unknowns to you. You don't know any of them. You can walk in and you can have this expectation of, oh my God, are they going to like me? Am I going to be rejected? I sometimes imagine how it must have been being the first African-American students walking into all-white classrooms and feeling like a complete alien within your own species simply because of the color of your skin. How do you do that? How do you walk into a world when you're wired to expect rejection? That's one way of living life. That's how I lived life. And then you can walk into a classroom and you can look at everybody and you can think, wow, either that classroom or a class of people that love you and you've been longing to meet them, and in which case it's pure joy and your nervous system relaxes. Or maybe again, it's another classroom of people that you don't know, and there is a choice that we can make to walk in there, look at everybody and look for their beauty. Instead of projecting our own fear onto life, we can proactively choose to love. We can know that there are thousands of stories in that room, thousands of experiences, thousands of things that we've all gone through that have caused us to be able to shut off our own hearts. Doesn't mean that we're bad, doesn't mean that we're unlovable, doesn't mean that we can't love. But it may mean that we're withheld, it may mean that we're insecure, it may mean that we're needy, it may mean that we're arrogant, it may mean that we're all sorts of survival mechanisms over the top of our own love, but it's not the truth of us. And so there is this choice that we can make to move into our life like a classroom, like Earth School, where every moment becomes an opportunity to really be with the person that you're with, really be in the circumstance that you find yourself in, and look for the beauty in the other. Really look for the beauty and know that it's there no matter what's coming. Because a fundamental truth that I hold in my life that serves me is that every single person is doing their absolute best in that moment. No matter how crazy it looks, no matter how destructive it looks, no matter how much we can sit there and judge and judge and judge and throw our oh my God, how can he, how can they at them. That person is doing their best. And if that person is so disconnected through so much pain that they carry that their best looks like bombing people, looks like politics that you want to tear your hair out at, it's still the best that they could do. If they could be doing any better, they would be. So again, we come back to this thing of there's not enough energy in the system. It's a sign of being out of balance. And what do we all long for? We long to be loved. We long to be accepted. We long to have somebody sit and look at us and say, I understand why you are the way you are and I'm here with you. We long to feel treasured. We long to feel like we belong. We long for somebody to wrap their arms around us no matter how we're being or who we're being, especially when we're showing up at our absolute worst, and say, I know you're in there somewhere and I love you and I'm a stand for you. There's a fundamental practice inside of TreeSisters that we call sistering. And sistering is the choice to give your full presence to another woman. Your full presence, not just to look at her with your eyes and pick her apart, but to look at her with your heart and feel for her. To know that she is completely magnificent whether she knows it or not. Because that choice to do that elevates both parties, rises both boats, helps you in that moment be the very best that you can be in your personal presence and your awareness that in any moment you can be victim to the moment, or you can be a connected, loving presence who can support that moment to be the highest that it can be, where you can know that person as being the best that they are in that moment, even if they're completely dissociated or in a mess or whatever they're being. And you can be an invitation for the highest, because when you believe in someone, they feel it. When you're a stand for the truest that they are, they feel it. It's like this profound relief. And so the tuning fork that you can be can start to vibrate in any moment with the highest expression of yourself. And that can start to vibrate that equal place that is true inside the other. And so in that moment, you can consciously call forth the highest expression of the potential in that relationship. And we can do that at any point in our lives, in any situation. We can walk into that classroom and just go, oh my God, I'm so terrified. And we can cut off from the love that we are, or we can walk in despite the fear. And I'm not saying it's not going to be there. I face it every day doing these live things or these meditations or whatever. The fear is there. But it's shallow in comparison to the love that I am. And I have the choice to show up in the love that I am, because I want to help us all make the choice to come from our hearts, to choose to create a more loving world, to choose to show up in a way that actually softens all these fractured parts of ourselves and floods love and compassion into those gaps. And in those gaps cause a soothing, a deep permeating soothing of the whole system, because the currency has become love rather than comparison, love rather than judgment. You know, when you think about judging, what do? We either elevate ourselves and put someone else down and judge what we consider less than or inferior, or we put others above ourselves and we put ourselves down because we consider ourselves less than or inferior. And it's this, what are we doing? Consistently creating this above or below. It's like we're managing our fear of intimacy. We're managing the, what if we're all just the same? What if we can actually just sit and be true and real together? What if everything that I am and everything that you are becomes permission for each other to simply be, and we feel, which is the next stage, that's next week, embody. I believe the reason we judge is because it makes it possible to not feel. It's our avoidance of stuff we don't want to feel. It's our avoidance of the fear of feeling rejection, and so we reject first. We can live like that. We can all live like that. Or we can simply choose to love. And it is a choice, and it is a muscle, and we won't be able to do it all the time, and we will fall back into our judgments. But again, it's like, are we willing to wake up to the fact that we're judging? Are we willing to wake up to the fact that we're avoiding something? And in those moments when we can't love out because it just hits a place of like, inside us, I'm hurt, I can't, I don't want to. Love is bidirectional. That is when we turn it back to ourselves and we choose to feel fully and consciously the part of ourselves that is unable to come out right now because we've hit something inside ourselves that is just saying, I can't. That is equally beautiful, equally valid, if instead of rejecting out and rejecting in because we're feeling this thing and we can't do it properly, we just go, wow, now I need me. Now I need me. Now I need all my energy and my intention to come into this place, this part of myself that can't love because she's frozen, can't love because it hurts, can't love because I don't want to, because I wasn't. And choose to love in to that place. Either way, it's the in-breath of love and the out-breath of love. The in-breath of love and the out-breath of love. In this moment, I can love out. In this moment, I can't love out. In this moment, I need to live, to love in. The more we can create a field of love within TreeSisters, the more leadership will rise, the more we will feel safe to bring our gifts and our courage. The more women who have never felt comfortable to bring their voices will bring their voices. The more we will have the courage to feel the unfeelable and start to close these fractures and come into our power. The more we can be a stand for each other. That is a quality of sisterhood that is in our reach if we choose to create it. And this is going to be the foundation of tomorrow's global meditation, where we come into and create a much more conscious field of love that can nurture our strength to feel what is asking to be felt. Because only when we feel what is asking to be felt will we have the courage to take the action, will we have the energy to be able to take the action. Holding hands, holding hearts in our togetherness. And that is why the meme for this week and the invitation this week is to look for the magnificence and the beauty that is the truth of you. When you sit with another, any other, whether you're on the bus or the tube or you're out at work, take time to soften into your heart and look at these others, no matter how they could be just being absolute awful, The same, running, critical, judging, betraying, arrogant, whatever. And know that that is the best that they can do, and invoke the deeper river of magnificence that is their soul, that is the truth of them. You can walk into life as the classroom that you choose to love regardless, because you have the power, and that is how we become the source of our own creation and the quality of relationship that is transformational for both you and the other. That is our choice. That is my invitation. If you can do it every day, consciously, every day with someone, you will start to shift your compass towards a different kind of world. And you will start to feel more in charge of your heart and more in charge of your life. This is the gift of embrace. This is the world that we have a choice to create. So I hope you're with us tomorrow for what I think will be an absolutely beautiful, love-saturated global meditation. Thank you so much for being here with us. And as usual, I will end with a call on behalf of the trees. Why are we doing this? We're doing this to unleash our love. Who do we most need to love right now? The one who has given us everything. Everything. Can we give back through the trees? Can we normalize giving back through the trees? Please go to billiontrees.me and start to show your gratitude with your love in giving back every month with your gift for the trees. Hope to see you tomorrow. Take care.